Delhi lacked the intensity that should have been there right from the start because it's a knockout game for them.
Hello, good evening. We welcome you to another episode of Straight Bat with Mr. Cricket UAE and Gulf News. Unfortunately, Mr. Cricket Anis Sajan is not with us this evening. So my guests are AK Satish, the sports editor of Gulf News, and Mr. Naresh Mansukani, devout Mumbai Indians fan. I think today's match has given him plenty of takeaways, positive takeaways for the next season.
And a big smile.
Yes. So I'll come to that. I will first ask Satish to sum up the way the match went, and then we will take it from there.
I think to start with, Delhi lacked the intensity that should have been there right from the start because it's a knockout game for them. And it is better they lost in that league phase because obviously if this is the intensity they are going to show in a knockout game, I'm sure they will not go past the next one. At least we can see RCB, which is who seem to be better, winning the last few games, I think. So that way, I would say. And right from the start, Delhi didn't get a right start, losing 3 wickets. And from 50 for 4, it becomes very difficult. And thanks to Mumbai's generosity by dropping or leaving some few catches and rather giving a few runs, extra runs, misfielding and all that, they made some runs. But at the end of it, when Delhi was fielding, I think they certainly didn't look like the way champion side should have played. Yes, Pant dropped a sitter, but that's not the only one which is in focus. They could have gone for the review, which was also a big blunder. But all in all, I think Mumbai played the way Mumbai should have played, like coming to Mumbai other side. So in all, it's a good win for RCB, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, see, RCB always packed a punch. I mean, the problem was with that, with the disaster which they had and for which they were found wanting in the net run rate. But 159 on this wicket. I mean, Delhi had their moments, and even when they were defending, at one point of time when Rohit was out of sorts, but then when as long as Ishan Kishan and Dewald was coming and he was getting his eye in, Brevis, the run rate had climbed to 10.6 or something at the halfway mark. So where did they let things slip? I mean, to both experienced players, they had picked them up for attack. I mean, Brevis was particularly severe in Kuldeep. I was very impressed with him. So what do you think Delhi could have done better while defending?
Simple, Gautam. They should have taken the catches. Catches win matches. They dropped a catch of Brevis, who went on to score another 15 runs or 20 or 17 runs after that. And David was taken off the first ball, but they didn't go for a referral. You can't make those 2 blunders. I'm not even talking about the misfield that both the teams did. Yes, you can say it's a nice guy. You can drop catches. That's fine. But at least when there are 2 referrals, you could have still gone ahead and taken one at least. You could have tried it. So I think that's where they missed it. They missed it in between their ears more than their game.
Right. Yeah. I'll come to Naresh Bhai. Naresh Bhai, shall we say it's a case of better late than never? Lot of positive pointers today. I mean, the batting lineup, the way we see it panned out, it's turning out to be a good investment for next season. You add Sky to this middle order, and then you can look at Tim David as a perfect replacement for Pollard. I mean, I shouldn't say replacement, but one has to move on. Your thoughts on this, Naresh Bhai?
And Gautam, 4 wins out of the last 6 games. I think that's good. You can say, as you said, never late than ever. We have kind of progressed in the second half, and definitely, I think we did better understanding the conditions in the second half than we did in the first. Daniel Sams was very different in the second half after being benched for a couple of games. So some lot of positives. And as you said, with Surya Kumar back, Surya Kumar, Tilak, Brevis, and Tim David, I think these four, if fit, should feature in every game next season.
And you
Not to
add
look at
that with Rohit and Ishan Kishan. That's a formidable
yeah,
batting
yeah.
line.
Yeah, and Daniel Sams with the ball. If now you can say Bumrah is getting complimented with him at least in the power play. So those are the good takeaways in the second half. But yes, you felt the absence of Sky in the last few games because he could have taken you home even in those two games which we didn't win in the second half. Today's game also, first 10 overs, we had the game well under control, 55 for 4. And then they went on to score 100 plus in the second half. 160. I agree. The kind of blunders Delhi made, I think they could have defended. I felt 140 was good enough on this for us to chase. We chased 20 more because of Delhi's blunder. But yeah, I would say in a way at least a good end to the season, though a poor one, but at least it has ended well.
Right. Is Sanket coming in?
I think he's still not logged in, Gautam, yet.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Naresh bhai, I'll have another question on that. On that note for you. I mean, it's an obvious question. That is of Rohit.
Yeah.
I mean, today it's a question of you try to force the pace in the power play, you get dismissed, but throughout the tournament, I mean, barring those scratchy 40s and all that he scored, I mean, once again the left arm pacer is posing problems out of him. He doesn't seem to be the same batsman. So, do you think there is a case for him as well to maybe take a break in the South African series and come back fresh? Because there's a lot riding on him, mind you.
It's a very thin line between he taking rest or he wanting to get his better combination, thinking of the World Cup coming up. From the Indian team perspective, what we played before the IPL, that was West Indies and Sri Lanka in the T20 series. Many more new names have come out of this IPL. Probably Rohit would want to take them into the side and see how those combinations work. So probably that makes a case for Rohit to play and lead the side against South Africa. At the same time, what has happened, what mentally he has gone through with a poor IPL, a break can also be recommended. But I think it's going to be his call in the end, like how it is going to be Virat's call to continue or no in this format. But if you ask me personally, I would like Rohit to play because he needs to get the act together with the bat. It's been his worst year in the last 5 years, the IPL season. But surprisingly, being the bottom of the table, Ishan and Rohit have still been the second best opening pair, after KL and Quinton de Kock. So you can imagine how others have struggled as opening pairs. So, but I would like him to play at least couple of games, if not the entire 5-match series.
Right. Right. I'll come to Satish. Satish, there's the Rishabh Pant, the Rishabh Pant issue. I mean, it's today, of course, he at least tried to hang around and play according to the needs of the situation. Fine. I mean, a player can have a bit of a lean patch, but even a few months back, we were talking about him as one of the potential, future India captaincy candidates. But there are no others in the horizon. He's making some, in bowling, for example, I felt that he could have continued with Khalil for another over, give him that extra over after the power play. Then the number of DRS calls that you yourself just now spoke about. So what do you make of him? And do you think he's a natural leader or he should be left to do what he does best?
Gautam, before I go to Pant, I'll also need to add what Naresh spoke about Rohit. There is no substitute to being on the field. I think the best way to get your form back is to play. Yes, you might be miserable, you might be not getting your timing, but again, Rohit was not one of those guys who had the perfect footwork. He was just a hand-eye coordination player. He had the wonderful timing.
Yeah.
Once he gets a few knocks, even here he had a few knocks. Only thing is, he knew that the entire team was resting on his shoulders. So that pressure must have put him. Made him to take that extra risk, which he won't do when he plays for India, because he knows there are many others who could come up and do that. So he should play, and I'm sure he'll come back in flying colors with the Indian. team when he leads there. I have no doubts about it, but he should be playing. Coming back to Pant, Gautam, we still need to understand that Pant is still young, and he is still holding the responsibility of a very big franchise. It's not a small franchise. Delhi has
no, see, all franchises are big. I mean, the captains are always answerable, as we have seen. I mean, they can be quite ruthless when it comes to that.
All that, no, like the expectations and that level of pressure is higher. That's what I'm trying to say. Unlike maybe a Punjab or maybe a Rajasthan, pressure in Delhi might be higher because of the number of staff and the strength and the way they are approaching the game. Because obviously, when you're Ponting, when you have Watson and all that, you're going to have some pressure on the performance. But having said that, I think some of them, his form, I have no problems because he doesn't play with form. He is a innings player. One match he will score 100, next innings he will score a 0. So that kind of a player he is. With so I'm not worried about his batting. At least he's showing much more maturity while playing these games, which is fine. But I think captaincy, I still feel he's not up to the mark yet, but he's still young. We need to give him that benefit of doubt at this point of time.
Right.
Not of course, not those mistakes like the ones he did today, which he could have still gone ahead because anybody would have done that. I'm not justifying him for today, but I'm talking about the overall perspective. But again, mind you, he's been well groomed by somebody like Warner. Even Warner didn't tell him to go for a referral. So there are many things. Like it's not just him alone. There are another 10 people in the team. They could have forced him or they could have pushed it, including the bowler.
They call it. Yeah, they call it. I mean, in T20 the scenario changes so quickly. They call it the leadership group, etc., etc. Yes, I think we'll have to take your point on board. And also, if you look at the bigger picture, Satish, I think the team has been through a lot. I mean, there was a phase when six members, including 2 players, were down with COVID. Then again, there was another incident. So overall, when we look at it, I mean, they are.
And there was an umpiring blunder which happened, or rather, that umpiring episode which happened with the full toss against Rajasthan.
Right.
So a lot of things. The team has gone ups and downs. I think they have handled well, and I think they should still be happy to go ahead with a head high, held high. But they could have done a lot better than what they have done. But it's again a learning curve for Delhi once again, like in the past years.
Right. I'll come to Naresh bhai. See, now basically tomorrow we have got a match which is of academic interest, but now we are also looking at what each team can take the takeaway from this campaign, because we have got Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Punjab, right?
Tomorrow, correct.
Yeah. So both these teams, especially Sunrisers, I would say that they started on a poor note, then they came back kind of flattening to deceive with that 4-man pace attack. So if I'll come to Naresh bhai and see that Sunrisers, they have at least had the test of winning the title once. So what are they taking away from this tournament? Number one, and number two, once again Punjab, blow hot, blow cold kind of a campaign. So I won't ask you who's going to win, but I'll say that what have been the positives for them from this campaign?
Positives. Okay, so I'll start with Hyderabad first. I think Williamson needs to not bat as an opener, and I think he realized it in the last couple of games and changed that. So that's one thing which they have corrected during this campaign. Yes, they played the 4 pace attack, but somewhere I felt, at the first half, the conditions in Mumbai, kind of supported that. But in the second half, I felt they were challenging the conditions by continuing to play 4 pace attack, and could have probably looked at a 2 spin attack, though they are similar to Mumbai when it comes to the spin experience. They don't have that kind of spin experience. Yes, they have Washington Sundar and Sachit, and they didn't. But properly
Washington was also injured, so in between.
But just to interrupt you, they didn't use Abhishek Sharma at all. I mean, he's
he bowled, I think, 2 overs in between one game. He bowled 2 overs.
Yeah,
which he bowled
that
quite
was
well.
something. Yeah, that's something, and that's where they were challenging the conditions more, especially in the second half. Spin was making more impact. But yeah, positives have been Puran. He's done very well. Abhishek Sharma in patches, but he's done well. And even Makram has lived up to the expectation. Rahul Tripathi, the last inning, especially against Mumbai, Rahul Tripathi was phenomenal. Yeah, they have positives. The young, and one thing good I liked about Williamson was he left Umran Malik to just bowl pace. There was nothing else expected from him. Just keep continuing bowl pace, and he started getting the wickets also. Yes, last few games he was expensive, but no more to try any variation at this point of time early in his career. And because this game is lots to do with slower ones being bowled by fast bowlers, and that was one thing good. Umran was not required to try that. Natarajan, you can say, has been a little disappointing in the second half. Bhuvi has been phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't know whether he would be considered for the Team India setup, but he's been, I think, the most economical pacer in this season, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. The wickets table may not support him, but he's been extremely economical. So a good one for Hyderabad, considering that they revamped completely after what they had last year. They ended last and all the captaincy fiasco. But I think in Williamson, they have the potential who can take the team very far. He did it in 2018 when Warner was not available. So
yes, he did a very good job.
And the sad part is tomorrow he's not going to be there. He is actually
he's not there. Yeah, he's not there. So I think Puran may lead them tomorrow.
Why not? Bhuvneshwar can also lead. He's a fairly good.
Lead. But I think they will try out some more new guys who are on the bench there. Punjab.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is now it's a question of now it's a question of trying to finish on a high. Yeah. Yes. So I will.
Sorry, I think we lost Gautam.
Yeah. You are there, Gautam. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah. No, I think there is a connectivity issue. I will.
Yeah. You're back. Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
I will quickly move over to. Yeah. I think it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I will quickly move over to Satish on that note. There will be always a time and scope for discussing on how the battle lines have been drawn. But I would see as a kind of the four most deserving teams have possibly ended up in the top four finally. What do you feel? How do you want to sum it up?
I think about somewhere just after the midway, about when 9 games or 10 games were done, these are the 4 teams that were there in the top 4. The order was different, of course. Gujarat and Lucknow were in the top, and Rajasthan was somewhere in the 4th, and RCB 3rd, and RCB on 4th spot. I think that stayed. I think that's where I think one of the Sunday specials we did that, and I think that has stayed, which is quite a good thing. And I'm quite happy with the way things have happened, in the sense a lot of things have gone. They have come after a lot of scrap with like from some of the matches they were completely down and out, and they have come back, and they have set their places in the playoffs, which is quite good thing. And I think it will be an interesting contest from here on.
But yeah, Punjab and Delhi did well in the auction. Gautam, Punjab and Delhi did very well in the auction, so that would disappoint them. And Punjab.
No, but the problem with Punjab was they didn't gel well as a team. They were individual brilliances, but they didn't gel really well as a team, because there was one point of time the bowlers were bowling well and the batters were not doing well. And there was a time when the batters were getting runs and the bowlers were conceding runs. I think they didn't do it as a team. I think that's where they lost it, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, only thing is, if you look at the bigger picture, I mean, they are also in it for the glory. I mean, while IPL has kind of, worked out its revenue model very nicely, so there is no problem on that score. But like the way Rajasthan Royals, after having a very good auction, I mean, they are now where they wanted to be. Now, from there, it's a matter of one evening. I mean, things may go wrong. That's it. And even if things go wrong, they're getting another chance. Two bites of the cherry, as they were saying.
Correct.
So the only few pluses maybe when when they announce, when India announced their 15-member or 20-member team, whatever, for the home series against South Africa, definitely Arshdeep Singh is going to be there. If not, and about Mayank, I'm not too sure. In the T20 scheme of things, those are small bonuses. Yeah, those are small bonuses. But overall, we'd like to conclude. Now that with this final four spotted, I think that the best four are in there. And a final word from Naresh Bhai on that. I mean, were there any other team who we thought? I mean, obviously Mumbai. It's a different story. It's a very unusual story. Would you feel that somebody else deserved better?
I feel that's what I feel. The way the kind of game Punjab was playing.
Go ahead.
I think we have lost him. There could be. Yeah.
No, he's fine.
So on that note, I will conclude this night's discussions. The battle lines are drawn once again to remind you. Tomorrow is the final and 70th game of this league engagements, where Sunrisers Hyderabad are playing Punjab Kings in a match which is more to decide the final position or their final position.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have lost Gautam. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please do keep watching our channels, golfnews.com. Please do log in and take care. Good night. Bye-bye.